Greetings, I'm Deb the developer.
And I'm Glitch.
The head is already set up. This time the skeleton is going to use CSS Grid for layout. That removes the container div and adds a new element in the header for responsive images. Two things are different from the last skeleton. First, no container div. Second, the header uses a picture element instead of plain text. Let's look at both as we build.
Wait, so the container div was wrapping main and aside together so we could float them. If it's gone, how does the layout still work?
The float version needed that wrapper because float works element by element. You grouped main and aside inside something so you could float them side by side inside that group. CSS Grid doesn't work that way. Grid operates from the parent outward. You declare a grid on the parent div and the children line up according to the template. Main and aside can be direct children of the grid div. The wrapper was just a float workaround.
The container div was never a semantic requirement. It was always just scaffolding for the float. Grid made it unnecessary.
Exactly. Now the second difference, the picture element. A plain img tag loads one file, no conditions. The picture element gives the browser a list of options with conditions attached. The browser evaluates them top to bottom and loads the first one that matches.
So the browser is choosing between entirely different image files, not just scaling. You could serve a wide banner on desktop and a square crop on mobile. Same element, different assets based on the viewport.
That's called art direction. The composition changes, not just the size. Okay, first tag in the body, a div with a class grid. This is the CSS Grid parent. Everything else lives inside.
Grid div open, one parent div. Every layout element in the page will be a direct child of this one container.
Header next. The picture element goes inside. We give the browser two source options, one for viewports at 40M or wider and one as the default fallback, and then the img tag to render.
First source, wide banner if the viewport is at least 40M. Second source, no condition, so it's the default. The browser reads top to bottom and stops at the first match.
The image tag is not optional. The source tags tell the browser which file to pick. The image is the actual render target. Without it, nothing displays at all.
img in place, alt text on the img, not the picture. The picture element has no alt attribute of its own.
Right. The img is what the browser treats as the image from an accessibility standpoint. So that's where the alt lives. Nav next. Same pattern as before with a fifth link.
Nav links in blog uses strong because you don't link to the page you're already on. Nav active flags the current location. 5 links this time instead of 4.
Now main. Notice what's not here. No container div before main. It goes directly inside the grid div. Grid will place main and aside side by side without any extra wrapper.
Main direct inside the grid div, articles with inline images. The imgart class gives us a handle to float those images within the article when we get to the CSS.
Two more articles, then the aside goes right after the closing main tag. Also a direct grid child.
Guardians of knowledge and secrets. Complete situational awareness, total information access, zero tolerance for unauthorized. It's just mythology, ancient dragons, nothing relevant to any current operational plans.
Bright glitch. All right, let's go ahead and take care of the aside and the footer.
Aside closed, footer closed, grid div closed, all 5 layout elements direct children of the grid parent, structure complete.
That's the skeleton. Same semantic landmarks, header, nav, main, aside, footer, but the structure is leaner. No container div, the picture element handling the responsive image in the header. Grid takes it from here.
Okay, so to recap, the container div was a float workaround that Grid doesn't need. And picture is a browser decision tree, not just a bigger IMG tag. The browser picks the asset.
That's it. Next, we style it with Grid. Build that skeleton, type every tag, know where every closing tag lives. Don't just watch it, do it.